Guys, welcome to Football List right now. Of course, we've got somebody very special here, Alan Davidson here, who played during the 1970s. Of course, he was a Socceroo and also played for South Melbourne, Melbourne Knights, Altona City, he says also. And we've got Stefan here at Georgia City as well joining us again today. And let me say, we've made a full circle here from those very big days of the Victorian State Soccer League. Of course, we've come back again from the 70s when the 74 Socceroos, that came through on TV at that time was very special. I used to watch the games on TV as a young kid, of course. But let me tell you, Alan at that time was playing in those games. Is that right? You were getting this TV before the National League. So as a 15-year-old, you played at South Melbourne and, of course, Altona. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I played at Altona and then I went to South Melbourne when I was 17, I think, and played for South Melbourne back from 75, then went into 77, we went into the National League.
And of course, boy, at that time, when the 74 Socceroos were around, wow, and they qualified, mate, it was all open season for the game to grow as well. It didn't grow as well it did, but let me say, in Victoria, the Victorian State Football League, on TV every Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. I can remember the Bannons playing, the Bannons. I can remember the Tansies. I can remember the Mike Pies and all these guys. All these guys, mate. And they were all on TV before the National League. These guys were big names in Victoria before 1970s, which I'm wearing actually, Alan. Remember that? You remember that logo there?
Oh, the Phillips Soccer League, yeah.
You started in that one. And the Phillips Soccer League started, but before that, the TV games were all the Victorian State League soccer. And mate, tell us about the Victorian State League. I mean, it was on Channel 9, 3 p.m. Sundays during the early 70s, before the Socceroos that played in, of course, at the 74 World Cup. And Tony Charlton was an AFL guy or VFL guy at the time, who was actually the commentator, and that was amazing times. Did you ever see those games yourself at some stage on Sundays?
I recall them, but there was only one game and it was the match of the day.
Yes.
So they played the best team, and it was the exposure for the state league at that time, and I guess that if you were lucky to be playing one of the top teams, you were on TV.
And of course we've done a full circle, and you know yourself. You're seeing stuff on TV yourself now. Well, we go back a long. We don't tell
not as much as me. I wasn't born back in the day as much as you guys were. But
Yes.
No, I'm enjoying this kind of thing.
And we, as kids, watching the games in the Victorian State Soccer League on Channel 9 and 3 p.m. during the early 70s. Boy, that was amazing stuff, because that was the growth of the game in Victoria before the 1977, of course, Phillips League, which I'm wearing the shirt today of Sydney Olympic. But let me just say, what you have today, the YouTubes, the digital TV and everything, these guys have got everything so easy these days, Alan, but it was only one TV channel for the game, wasn't it?
I think that's progression and evolution of the game as well, and obviously the scientific side of it, where you're talking about YouTube and that sort of stuff now. So we didn't have phones back in those days.
No, we didn't.
And so that was the way it was.
And when you played for the Socceroos too, you actually got telegrams. Is that right?
Correct.
All these telegrams. No, you're seeing, hearing stuff.
No, I've never heard this kind of stuff before.
Oh, mate, it's amazing. It's all historical stuff. And as a young kid, Stefan, now you have all these TV channels, digital channels, YouTube. I mean, you've got so much in front of you, you don't even know where to turn these days. Is that right?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's somewhere where we can go back and we can watch as you're saying, the Victorian State League games and whatnot. I'd love to go and watch some of Alan's.
Oh, mate, he was
old
amazing.
matches back in the day.
This guy here, they used to call him the Messi, the Maradona of South Melbourne. Is that right? Those days, the signs. Oh, I saw the signs, Alan. The signs at the games, Maradona. How did you feel when you walked on the field at South Melbourne? Davidson, the Maradona of South Melbourne. What was that like for you?
I was just blessed to be able to play for South Melbourne. So
yes.
I appreciate everything that the Greek community have given me, and I'll always remember it. So yeah.
And so the Socceroos, when you got called up to the Socceroos, what was your feeling receiving that telegram? And of course, Chris Calavatidis showed me. I've got his telegram. Chris has got me. You still got him?
Yeah, I got mine.
As you put him in I think he's put him into a frame. Framed him. So you get the same ones, of course.
Yeah. All the players, when you were nominated or when you were picked for the Australian team or when you were told anything, it was always sent to you by a telegram. So you always got it in the mail, and then you got it. You know, you knew what was happening because it was there, and that's what you had to do. And you went on, and you know they were telling you where your tickets were booked and all this sort of stuff, and we had to go on certain things and be there at certain dates and all that sort of stuff.
I'm gonna go home now and have a look at what these telegrams are. Have a little Google search.
It's unbelievable, Stefan.
He doesn't know what a telegram is.
No. I know the Telegram app now, where you can send messages now on your phone. I don't know what
Oh,
telegrams
mate, you got no
are
idea.
though.
It's a paper letter.
It's
a paper letter.
But it was
Yeah.
probably the email of the day. Is that
Email
right?
of the
The
day.
email of the day.
yeah.
You should ask this gentleman some questions too. I tell you what.
I've got a whole heap. I'm going to ask you, how was when you got caught up in that first game that you had for the Socceroos? What was your emotions like? Can you still recall that day? What was that day like for you? Obviously, for the ladies and gentlemen, I'm as fortunate to play for the Socceroos. I'm sure they'd love to know what the experience was like.
Oh, you know, I guess that it's always a dream come true to play for your country, and I think I speak on behalf of all the players, and it's quite cutthroat as well. You know, and I was a youngster as well, and I was trying just to be a better player, and all these doors opened. I never really thought about being a soccer player when I was a soccer player, but it became a job for me, and it became a path road for me, and I'm glad I stayed on the road because it's given me a great life and a lot of great memories.
What was your mentality like going into some of those games? What was your thought process in some of the high pressure moments as well? If you can recall back to those moments that you had. I'm a big mentality guy. I like to know about how
He's good.
every individual has always figured it out.
He talks like a scientist, this guy.
Well, I'm a fellow athlete myself, professional pickleballer. I don't know if you know what that is, but I mean, what was your mentality like going into some of those moments?
It was all about winning. That was it. It was all about winning, and it was not just winning the game, but winning the tackle, winning the ball, making sure that you keep the ball and get the ball forward, and it was all about being the best. And I'm talking personally, it was all about being the best, to try to be the best. My mother's Japanese, so it's the standard comes from there, I guess. And the perfection in the standard in Japan's perfection. So, I grew up with that, and I was blessed in a way to be able to contribute in football and in soccer, and I was blessed that South Melbourne gave me the opportunity to sign for them, and and I'll never ever, just all good memories.
What was the highlight of your career? Sure, there's got to be that Socceroos. Have you got anything else?
He's got a lot of highlights. Just thinking,
I know.
You've no idea what this guy
does.
does.
Think.
When you get on YouTube and see this bloke, you say, "Oh my God, mate! My God, where's this guy? He's unbelievable. With the way he used to run with the ball, unbelievable."
You know, the highlight for me was when I was in grade 4, and Greek boys were talking to me, and they became my friends. Because back in my day, it was a tough time, and all the kids that I went to school with, their fathers were killed by the Japanese in the war, and then I got beaten up by them every day, and then the Greek community befriended me, and then that was the highlight of my life, the Greek community befriending me, because they got me involved in soccer, and it changed my whole life.
Saw yourself playing for Alice after that.
Saw myself playing for Alice. My wife's Greek, and you talk about moments. There's a lot of moments. Winning things, and playing for Australia was definitely a highlight. And I think probably the most important highlights for me are watching my son play,
Jason,
and watching my son Jason play, and playing for Australia at the World Cup in Brazil, and winning the Asian Cup. Your dreams come through your kids, and that was.
And there were not many father sons that played for the Socceroos. You're one of them, and we're talking about Paul Oakon's son now, who's been chosen in the group to play in one of the training groups to see whether he makes it as well. But there hasn't been that many, Alan. There hasn't been, but you're probably the first.
We hold the record of
Yes.
the father and son players and playing games and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully that can continue for a while, and I'm sure there'll be another son coming somewhere from somewhere, and out of the blue, they do something,
And Jason's playing today.
Yeah, playing against Sydney City in Sydney.
Sydney
now,
City.
yeah.
Sydney City. That's a great name for it. I remember that club.
Sydney FC.
Sydney FC. They should have actually. I was supposed to be Sydney City. They were going to use that name, but apparently Mr. Lowy didn't want to use it. Some people, and the colours are similar to the old Sydney City, but that's history too. But let me just say one thing about this now. There are so many leagues, so many competitions that a lot of people don't know about. We're here today at Avondale, Alan, of course, watching the team that's going to be playing the Brisbane team, Moreton City Excelsior, playing Avondale today at Avondale. Boy, this is a crunch game. This is a game, and those guys have improved unbelievably. So we're going to be watching them very shortly. But the thing about this is, mate, thank you very much for joining us. Mate, to have you here, to have a living legend of the game in Australia who's been through everything just about, to all the things that he has been through, all the things that you started with as a kid playing the game. Those days were very different. These days are different too. Yes. So it's amazing. So thank you very much once more.
No, my pleasure.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Yep.
Anything to give back to the game.
Mate, fantastic. Guys, we're back very soon. Well, I think we got the Moreton City Excelsior coach coming on. Thank you, guys. Thanks. Well, right now we are at Avondale FC, and of course we've got the Queenslanders here, mate. All I can say one thing is Queenslander, and that's what I'd like to say.
Maroons.
The Maroons. It's a bit hot to wear that one today, but anyway, the thing is, Cameron, thank you for joining us. Cameron Miller, the coach of Moreton City Excelsior. Now I want to go back to your first game in this competition. Broadmeadow, was it Broadmeadow Magic? Yes.
Yeah.
Now I tell you what, mate, that was a big win.
Yeah, we've had some entertaining games in this competition so far, that's for sure. We've scored 15 goals. At the same time, we've conceded a lot too. So, with playing attacking football and looking to go forward a lot, obviously brings a level of risk, yeah? So we're prepared to take that risk again today. Obviously, we need to be very aware of their key threats because they've got a lot of them.
Yes.
But no, we believe in our football and we're confident today.
And of course, you played the first game at Broadmeadow Magic. Then that was South Melbourne, and I was at that game.
Yes.
And I tell you what, mate, that game was a very tough game for you guys. I watched the game. They were just bang, bang. It was like you guys are learning, a learning curve against them. Was it learning? But then the other game that you played was against Sydney Olympic. My God, mate, you destroyed them. You destroyed them.
Yeah, I think you're right. Our first game, our last trip down to
Learning.
Melbourne, was a very tough one against South Melbourne. Very different style of
Rainy
play.
day, that one turned out to be
it
as
was,
well.
It was tough, but very different football game to what we're used to up in Queensland. So yeah, it was a challenge, but we learnt a lot from that, as you said. I think if you watched us against South Melbourne last week up at home, we took it to them, and I thought across the 90 minutes we were the better side and probably could have won the game.
That's
I
what I was
thought
going to say.
you guys were going to win it, to be fair.
Yeah.
I saw the score coming out. I was like, they're in for a chance here. They're in for a chance.
So lessons learned from that game, certainly, about playing against top Victorian NPL teams.
This is what usually happens, the South Melbourne want to say, wait till we get them on our turf. But hang on for a sec, mate. I'm a Queenslander myself. And when you go to Perry Park, it's very different at Perry. Mate, you guys are representing Queensland today. You know that. But to play the game at Perry Park, the home of the game in Queensland, I have seen, let me tell you, as a young kid, I used to go up there and watch World Cup qualifiers. Yeah. World Cup qualifiers where the Socceroos have played. That's a historical ground. How do you feel playing? I know you got your own home ground, but that's a fortress for you right now.
Yeah, it has been Perry Park. We're fortunate to play in some big games there over the last couple of years. Last year we got to play against Perth Glory in the Melbourne Victory in the Oz Cup. Had a couple of special nights there, so that was exciting for us in the last few games. Obviously we're through the quarterfinals now, and Marconi's next for the winners, so it's a foundation club, which means if we go through, we'll be travelling regardless, right? So we finished at Perry Park for the competition, but yeah, it was a great experience being there.
Absolutely amazing. So how do you feel coming down to Melbourne? Different weather today. The weather seems like a bit of Queensland today.
I was going to say that you brought the weather down here with you. They got tons out.
I feel like every trip it's the middle of the day, but every trip we've been on so far has been really warm. And whilst we are used to the warmer weather, it's certainly not easy to play in those conditions. Yeah, so.
Definitely.
I think we're definitely more prepared for big Victorian opposition. But in saying that, Avondale very different team to South. So it's got to be another challenge. Yeah.
Mate, massive improvement last week. Massive improvement. That wasn't the team that played. Your team was not the team that played at South Melbourne. This was a completely different. The attitude of the players was going forward. Amazing.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. I think, like you mentioned, attitude there. I think that was the key.
Yes.
Just the self-belief that we can compete with this level. We certainly can. We scored the most goals in this, whole championship. So
fantastic.
We're a very good football side. We've got to be able to compete when the game gets tough as well.
One more thing about. Let me tell you about that game last. Yeah, the two brothers playing last week.
Yeah, Luca Jankovic playing up against Marco. Yeah.
I can't believe. Stefan, you got some questions for?
Yeah, of course. Well,
Cameron.
how do you guys approach this game? Obviously, you played South Melbourne, one NPL Victorian team. Now you play against Avondale. What's your approach coming into this one that you might do a little bit differently compared to South Melbourne?
Yeah, it is a little bit different, I think, based on the opposition. Our approach is very much always about our football and our style of play, our processes in and out of possession. South Melbourne, we had to last week certainly prepare for the physical contests, the aerial balls, all those different parts of the game that are challenging. Avondale are a good footballing team. They're possession orientated. They've got some very dangerous individual threats. So obviously we're prepared to nullify those as much as possible. But above all, just our football and do it very well today. That's the plan.
How do you boys manage to kind of cope with these conditions here? Obviously you guys are used to the more hotter conditions. When you guys come down here, is it a little bit easier for the boys to kind of cope in these conditions, or is it kind of a little bit harder?
Yeah, I will say that we're far more prepared now. This is our 4th away trip, in 7 weeks. So far more, smoother in terms of getting down here, the travel, the getting into the hotel and getting to the game. I don't think it phases us now. Certainly the first trip, a couple of trips were tricky. Dealing with the travel's a big one, to be honest, and sleeping in a different bed and, travelling on the bus to the game. The conditions, well, it is what it is. Hey, we can't do much about that.
Yeah, well, hey, you guys are going to do well, I'm sure, out there. One thing that you guys are looking to try and take away from this game at this track, regardless if it's a win or loss, what's one thing that you guys are going to try and look to take away from this game?
Yeah, we want a really good performance. Through the group stage on and a number of those games, to be fair, we played really good football and results didn't always reflect that in the group. We only won 2 games, right? So for us today, we really want to put in a good performance. Firstly, because we want to prove that we are good enough at this level, well and truly good enough at this level to compete and be successful.
Quarterfinals bound, of course.
Quarterfinal, yeah, but I think we know that's the secret to winning today as well. Good performance.
And I got one more question. Who's one player that we should look out for out there, or if you can name not one but a couple players out there?
Jankovic.
Yeah, it's always a really tough one to single out players because there's so many, all the boys obviously. One player I will mention is Declan Smith, our captain. Some of these games where we win 3-2 or we draw 3-3. It's like he sometimes goes unnoticed because we're conceding goals. But for me, he's been absolutely incredible in this tournament. Probably one of, if not the best, centre backs. But other attacking players, obviously keep an eye on. Saita Murai has been fantastic. A lot of goal contributions. Queensland Player of the Year this year. And you mentioned Luka Jankovic there. He's starting today for us. His first start in the championship. Keep an eye on him because he's been exciting.
One thing I'll ask you is that when you. One thing I'll ask you is that. Mate, the players, how many players are produced in Queensland and they're playing down south? Yeah. My God, mate, I can't believe this. How many playing for Max Mikola? You got the other Jankovic. I mean, how many more have to come to Victoria to be stolen from you guys in Queensland? So the standard in Queensland is very different to down here.
The standard of football is very high in Queensland.
Yes.
And of course, a lot of very good players are coming out of Queensland. What we know is the product is still ahead down here. There's more money, more resources. The strength of the league is stronger, obviously. But yeah, a lot of Queenslanders down here. There's a couple in that Avondale lineup today. Sian Cuba, Emlyn Wellsmore as well, actually played for our club for a couple of years when he was a junior. So a couple of Queenslanders in that side again today. Are they
going to stir them up today? They know the Queenslanders from Avondale, mate. That would be a massive thing. I tell you what, mate.
Well, yeah, we've got Jackson Courtney in our squad too, who obviously played for Avondale. This won the league down here for Avondale.
Wow.
Unfortunately, he's out injured today, so won't be in there. But he's been in around the change rooms, and he's certainly got a few inside tricks, I think, for some of the players out there.
We're going to let you go. You've got to set up, mate. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All I can say before Cameron goes, only one thing, guys. Queenslander.
The Maroons.
The Maroons. Thanks, mate. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Quarterfinals today as well. How do you guys approach today? Is there a different approach you guys have from all the other games that you have, or does it still remain the same?
we talk about the mentality a lot. So getting the little details right and that mentality, just everything is going to be at the next level today compared to those group stage games. So yeah, we just have to make sure we're ready for that.
What's your mentality going in? I'm a big mentality guy. I want to know, how do you approach these big time situations and these big time matchups? What's your kind of go-to? You got any routines or anything that you kind of follow?
I'm big on routines. Yeah,
I'm really
superstitious. Yeah, superstitious. Boots are in the same spot. Gear sits in the same spot in the change room. All that kind of stuff. But then it's about helping the young boys in and doing what I can to help them get prepared for games like this as well.
You big on meditation or anything, or any yogas or any like mental work that you really go in that helps you prepare for the game?
I got a playlist on Spotify.
Okay,
really? I got the same playlist every game, but just get these particular songs.
What are some couple songs? Name them. I need to know this.
No, they're like punk rock, metal, heavy metal type songs. Yeah, it's really
basically adrenaline pumping music essentially.
Gets in the zone ready to play.
So what have you guys done different? The different stuff today, coming to this sort of ground, playing in Melbourne, very different atmosphere compared to the Queensland crowd and everything. But you know yourself what happened at South Melbourne a few weeks ago. Yeah. How brutal, or should I say hooligans? Was that right?
It was hostile.
Oh, hostile.
Yeah, hostile. It's something that we don't get up in Queensland.
No, you don't see that at all.
Sometimes Olympic FC can be like that, but it's just different down here. It's a lot more hostile. I've never seen it.
So you guys have beaten Broadmeadow Magic. That first game was a big game.
Yeah,
beat them pretty easily too.
Oh yeah.
A few goals, but the second time
second time it was amazing. Better than a player sent off. But the first time, I think that set us up really well to kick on.
And so then you went on. You played South Melbourne the second game, and that was a tester because you didn't know what they're all about. Is that right? Because you don't know. And what I can't understand is you can't actually understand their play because you've never seen them. You've never seen them through the year on NPL because you didn't even know whether you're going to qualify. That's the other thing.
Yeah, well, that's right. We can only do our research based on past games they played, but they did the same as us. They signed half a dozen players for this tournament, so that changes everything again. So you really don't know what they're going to set up after only just one game.
And you've got a few guys today who've joined in the last few weeks to play today.
Yeah.
New players that you signed up. Who are they?
Yeah. So we've got Trent Millard, who's come across from Lions today.
Okay.
He's been really, really good for us. He's been solid with his performances when he's come off the bench for us. So he's been really good.
You got this Japanese kid too. He's not bad at all, is he? Japanese kid?
We've got Kenny. Kenny's one of the Japanese boys. He's injured, unfortunately. We've got obviously Seita, who's been with us all year, and Seita and Kay, who scored those couple of really good goals in the last couple of games.
Stefan, ask me a couple more questions before we finish. Because he's got to go and play, mate.
I know, he's got to go and play. I'm surprised. Is your coach, Cam, going to crack at you for not joining in the warm-up at the moment?
I'm not starting today, so...
really?
No, I'll
you're on the bench?
I'll come on at some stage. So
they're keeping you for the dynamics of the game. It says Queenslanders here, mate. Queenslanders have got the surprise. It's a surprise here today. So this guy here comes on. Anything can happen, is that right?
That's right.
Just believe you hear me cheering in the Avondale.
No. Mate, your shirts. They sent me one.
Away kit?
The old Arsenal one. What a kit that. Mate, it's in my studio. And Cameron said, I saw it on the show.
Yeah.
I got it right in the middle for the Queenslanders. Here you go. And we want to talk about some positive stuff tomorrow. We got a little show to do 10 minutes in my studio tomorrow to talk about all the competition this week and what's happening. We want to see you guys. I'm a Queenslander, okay? So I can't say too much. Mate, thank you for joining us.
Very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Guys. Enjoy.
Thanks, guys. Here you go. Some more of Queenslanders. Here you go. We're back on again right now, guys, and don't forget, I tell you what, the last few days, yesterday, of course, that game against Marconi, and I saw that game a little bit, went down to penalties, and what should have happened was that it should have been a Marconi win, but in the last few minutes, in the extra time, they just scored a goal. What a freak of a goal.
Stage of that one.
It was amazing. Oh, boy.
Wow.
Honestly.
Talk about pressure at its finest. It's staying in when you need it to.
It was just amazing. It was just, look, the pressure is showing in the competition now. Yeah. Once you lose, you're out, and that's what it is. Yep. Quarterfinals. The quarterfinal today against Brisbane. I'm going to call Brisbane City. No, Brisbane City Excelsior. I'm a Queensland. I can't help it. Morton City Excelsior today, and of course they're playing
La Familia,
La Familia,
Avondale.
of course. And let me just
We're
say one
down
thing.
here at Avondale. Come on.
We're at
eh?
Avondale FC, man. I'm confused. There's that many teams. And tomorrow, South Melbourne versus Northwest Sydney Spirit. Wow, those guys have learnt a lot in the last few weeks, and they're playing in that quarterfinal. I'm going to be there. You're going to be there tomorrow?
I'll try and make myself there tomorrow. We'll see what happens if I'm not busy or anything. That'd be great.
It's a 3 o'clock start, so it's a little bit later than this one. Oh boy, the time today was really not really a good time to play the game, but people still have to turn up to
happens,
their.
exactly.
You've got to have to turn up to your competition. You support your club. You come anytime with this rain, hail, shine, whatever. Even a nuclear bomb. Who knows? You turn up. Is that right?
That's 100% right. And I think you've already forgotten one matchup as well. It's going to be happening directly after this game.
Yes.
At Olympic Village, Heidelberg United versus the only Adelaide team in the competition,
yes.
Metro Stars,
Metro Stars,
which a lot of people have kind of forgotten about Metro Stars. So they're still in the competition a little bit, playing against Heidelberg United.
It is really funny because what's happened is, that team from Perth or Bayswater City, they were on top of the group all through.
They were.
And here they are. They lost one game, and that was the end of it. That's how cutthroat this competition is through these group stages. So you're looking like a simulation of a World Cup the way it's been run.
Yeah.
But the thing about this is they're not playing. They're playing each other twice in this competition, which gave you an opportunity. Either you could lose 1 or 2 games and come back and win the other 2 games. Was home and away. That's the difference in this competition. How do you feel about the competition at all? How do you feel about it at the moment?
I think the competition was great. I think obviously very like a Champions League kind of set up where you got 1 game home, 1 game away, so you kind of get to test the waters, see what if there's a tactic you want to run in 1 game, then you can kind of switch it up in the next game if it doesn't work for you. So I think the competition has run really well in terms of that, playing each team 6 home and away rounds, which is fantastic. Getting a taste of both teams home and away, but I think overall, we had a really strong competition. I mean, South Melbourne, undefeated. They only had just the 1 draw, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Or
yes, exactly.
Which happened last week against Moreton City. So a little bit of momentum here for Moreton City might we add.
It's
even
a massive.
though I am wearing an Avondale shirt.
These guys have improved, the same as Northwest Sydney Spirit last week a few weeks ago when they played down here as well. Geez, what an improvement! And that's the thing. It's good that you're playing the teams twice, because if it was a normal World Cup sort of system or Champions League system in Europe, you'd be playing once. But they're playing them twice, which gives an opportunity to say, hello, you've got us. We lost on your turf. We're going to get you on our turf. The complete opposites have happened, and they have happened.
I agree, and they have. And there's been a lot of shockers, and I think for me, and I was going to ask you this question as well, who's been your biggest shock throughout the Australian Championship? I'll go first. I think the member foundation club, Sydney United. I don't like to bag anyone, but I think they had such a terrible run this year. They're a little bit unlucky. I think it started off in that first game when Bayswater managed to knock in that equaliser in the very late minute of that game, when the crowd was kind of doing their antics, not throwing the ball back when they needed to. Didn't really suit them well. They got obliterated the next game against West Apia. It hasn't been a good campaign for them, and that's shocking because for a team like Sydney United, which has such a big fan base, we know how much, we talk about the Ultras, talking about flares and everything like that. I mean, they got the biggest fan base whatsoever, and I think they got outdone in terms of fans with another New South Wales team, Canberra Croatia. Canberra Croatia had a lot more fans following them than Sydney United did, which is shocking.
I don't think some of the clubs I don't think they've done enough. To me, I'm coming out there as a devil's advocate here. Football Australia have come out and put promotion everywhere on Facebook. You see it on SBS and what's going on, but the clubs need to do more.
Yes.
They need to do more to promote. I've had a lot of people talk to me about, Stefan, is that why aren't they doing enough? And Alan, that was here earlier with us doing that interview, he said, Harry, I didn't know that was on today. I mean, he's a former Socceroo. He's a very big official player who played many years in the NSL. His son Jason's playing, he's a Socceroo as well, of course, playing for Melbourne Victory today. You would only think that these clubs should actually put more things out there. Where? I'll tell you about one thing. The only guy that actually pushed promotion for which club? Preston.
Yes.
Because let me say one thing about what David does down there. Mate, at the beginning,
Svetovsky.
And at the beginning of the season, before the NPL season, he went out there on SEN radio. They did promotion on SEN radio and everything, and put it out there. And look at their crowds. Look at their crowds.
It goes to show the difference between a team that's promoting the competition and promoting and encouraging their community to come by, because for me, throughout the entire competition and throughout the entire year, Preston have been the benchmark for fans and crowds and getting. We got the drum. Talk about ultras and stuff like that. We got the drummer, right, which is what we need. We need more fans like that.
Exactly.
But if we talk about each team throughout the championship, Preston are the benchmark. I thought close second would have been Sydney United. Sydney United disappointed me a lot.
Oh, those clubs.
No one rocked up to the games, which is sad. West Apia had more. Marconi had more. Marconi, fabulous turnout, by the way. Marconi, Marconi was rocking.
Yes.
Out of the blue, which is crazy because I mean, talk about all the Italians. It was the Italia Derby last night, but Preston have done a phenomenal job at engaging a lot of community. I know a lot of Macedonians. I'm half Macedonian.
And David's out there talking even some stories on some podcasts and everything and saying a few things. I don't see anybody else doing this. It's time that we all come together and have some kind of forum and said, hey, what do we do next to take this competition further next year?
The thing is,
to make it better as well.
You got to remember that this is Preston's first time back in the top flight in NPL since way back when, if we can all remember.
And then NSL Powerhouse during the 80s.
Exactly.
80s.
So you can tell how seriously they've taken it, and you can see at all the games that there's so many people gathering at the games. And I've spoken to cousins and family members and all these types of people that have gone to the games, and they said we've seen people at Preston games that we haven't seen in so many years, whether it be family, friends, or anything. So you talk about a community gathering. Preston have done a phenomenal job at getting such a crowd and such a community and home feel that at the moment, no matter where Preston's playing, it's a Preston home game.
And let me just say, a few weeks ago, going to that game that you were sick on that day, so I went on my own. I went on my own to Heidelberg, mate, and it was raining, pouring.
Yeah, it looked like
they didn't turn up. What is going on here, mate? They had all the cover, the stand, everything there, undercover. I did some stuff there, and there was not even. We're looking at a supporters, 600 supporters, really? I mean, come on, this is a national competition here now.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed too. I was the only guy there doing anything. Nobody else. I was the only media doing anything.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's disappointing, but, I think there needs to be a little bit more awareness spread about this competition.
It has to happen.
If we want a promotion relegation to be happening, we need more fans out here. Obviously, I'm not too sure how long until kickoff starts. Obviously, the players are out there warming up.
It's very short. Yeah, that 15 minutes.
We do need a lot more fans coming in through the gates if we want this competition to pick up, and if we want a promotion relegation, which is what we need. I mean, look, A-League's just commenced. This is going on at the same time at the A-League. Maybe there might be a little bit of the clash between the two. Who knows? But I think we need a little bit more fans. Hopefully today, tomorrow, South Melbourne, we can get a lot more fans. Yesterday's Italian derby was massive, phenomenal, massive. With all the Italians coming out.
And tomorrow, there better be a crowd there, because I tell you what, Football Australia will be starting to worry. Yeah. They'll be starting to worry that not enough's been done. The clubs have got to do something themselves. We need to, I think the Football S Show needs to get involved in more in making commercials for this competition to put them up ourselves. So. Well, we'll talk to the clubs and see what happens.
We will.
So we can do some commercials or anything, and we're working on doing some promotions as well.
I was also going to say one other thing. If Avondale win today, they play Marconi in another Italian derby.
Next week here.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be here. I think it'll be a little bit more of a neutral game.
Maybe it could be. We need to find out.
It could be, but we'll find out. But obviously, I think once it goes to semi-finals, it's determined on who finish on more points. Yeah. But I think terms of if Avondale, if South Melbourne Heidelberg win, we will have a Victorian game here. And I think for the best community and public interest, I think we will have a game in Sydney. We will have to still work that out if the game next week is played in New South Wales, but we'll still
before we finish, before the game comes on, we want to just make an announcement. I should have made this announcement yesterday, but let me just say that we on Football S, and this guy here and this girl here, she can't see you, but that's fine. Let me tell you one thing that you don't know about. Football S is on Aurora TV for a year.
Wow.
Did you hear that before?
No, I did not hear that.
We're on for a year, guys. There's the announcement I wanted to make yesterday, but I did it now. We're very busy. We've worked so hard. I've worked so hard. Everybody's working so hard. Stefan, everybody's coming in to help me now. And also on Channel 31, they want us every week. Where does this stop, mate? I want a break. Say
You're
something.
not going to get a break now.
No, mate, please.
You're not going to get this. Is
God,
massive
mate.
Congratulations to you for all your hard work that you've done.
It's hard, but we're going to continue on. There's sponsors coming in now, helping us. It's fantastic to have a football show finally in the country. What do you think?
I think that's fantastic. I think it's something that it needs. I think there needs to be a lot more awareness of it. I think it's disappointing that Football S, I haven't seen any other show that's promoting this Australian Championship.
No.
So I think there needs to be a lot more talk about this community league, because this was back in the day. This is what it was. This is the NSL days. And now you've got the A leagues happening. So I think there needs to be a lot more awareness happening around this, because this is where it is. This is where the culture is. I mean, look, I'm saying right now, right behind us, we've got an Avondale logo established in 1984. The A league started in 2005. There is a lot more culture and heritage around around these community clubs like South Melbourne Hellas, Altona Magic, Heidelberg United, Preston Lions. All these clubs that have a lot more culture that needs to be shown. So I think that's fantastic news that we're going to be showing more football on TV, which is very much well deserved. So congratulations to you, Harry.
Thank you for Steph coming in with me at the right time when things have taken off, and we're going to get some more people involved as well. A lot of special things going to happen as well, like at clubs, doing some special shows at clubs, like a little documentary at the club on whatever we're going to do. But guys, please, if you're a sponsor out there and you want to join us right now for a whole year, it's up to you. We've got sponsors already, but we're happy to bring people in. Guys, thank you for joining us today. We'll be back very shortly. Thanks, guys. Welcome everyone right now. Of course, we've just seen the first half between, of course, Brisbane City, or Brisbane, why do I say Brisbane? Because they're a Brisbane
City
club.
Excelsior.
It's Moreton City Excelsior, and what's going on is, guys, what a game today, Andrew. They're playing Avondale down here at half time now. The game's very scrappy, isn't it? Very defensive. It's not really good flowing, is it?
I wouldn't say it's the most fluent game I've seen, but yeah, I mean, each team I think is still sussing each other out a bit. Moreton have come here with a good reputation, and obviously Avondale have never played Moreton before, so I think there's been a bit of feeling each other out, I suppose. In terms of possession, clearly Avondale's had the more possession, but having said that, both teams have created a couple of good chances and probably could have put one away each at least. So yeah, look, if there's an early goal, it could end up with multiple goals, but if it's a late goal, I can only see one goal separating the two teams.
Stefan, there was a through ball down there earlier.
There was.
I couldn't believe it. It's going to be a goal. He hooked it.
There was a couple opportunities even down on that far side where Bruno was leading all the way, and then it kind of got a little bit messy towards the end. The keeper came out a little bit too much, but I mean, as Andrew said, it's been very close, very evenly defensive.
Bit of cat and mouse, yeah.
Yeah, it has. So I think I was just telling Andrew this before we went out. I think this is going to be one of those games where whoever scores a goal, they're just going to completely park the bus and they're going to leave it at that. But
that's right.
Who knows? If last night's anything to go by, we could be in for a thriller. Maybe even penalties. I have a sneaking suspicion we might go there.
Please, no penalties. Please, after last night, my fingers are gone, mate. What do you want me to do? Go again? Mate, I couldn't believe it last night. But I tell you, there's a couple of games. There's a game very shortly too, Andrew, that Heidelberg United, after this one, they're going to be putting it straight on SBS. And, of course, that's between Metro Stars and Adelaide. Wow, that's going to be a big one. Because Metro Stars aren't pushovers, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Heidelberg really haven't had it as easy as as a lot of people have thought. They haven't won every single game, but then again, they haven't lost either. So I think they've got a bit in reserve. But it all counts, I suppose, at the business end, and we're at the business end now. So quarter-final this week, semi-finals next week.
Yes.
Within 2 weeks, it's all over.
It's all over, and I tell you what, in the heat of the day, how do you feel in the heat of the day today?
Yeah, the heat's... It genuinely feels like I'm in Queensland. Like, I feel like Moreton City have brought the heat. Like, if this is kind of middle of the day. Obviously, we're starting to push through the summer now, but geez, it's hot out there. Top of my head's burning.
Well, every other day, every other week they've been playing. It's been 1 o'clock, which means we're talking here 12:35. We're right in the middle of the day to play a game. I mean, Andrew, how do you feel with the players out there?
I've been there, and when the UV factor is up, it's very, very hard to play. What makes it even worse is when the sun comes out. So if there is a redeeming factor, it's the fact that there is some cloud, but the UV is still very, very high, and
very high.
It is muggy, and to be honest, it's probably, as Stefan intimated, it's probably playing into the Queenslanders' hands a bit, because it's more their type of weather, the sort of weather they're used to playing in.
We did speak to Cam earlier as well, and he did say that these type of conditions, I mean, they're used to a lot hotter conditions. Way more humid as well. So this down here, this is paradise for them down here, because they don't have to exert themselves. But however, Bruno, have you seen Bruno? His shirt's already sweaty.
I tell you, I lived in Brisbane for so many years, and going to a game or any sporting event, mate, it's humidity, and the humidity, you're sweating all the time. It's very different up there. But today, for them, it's a very dry heat. It's a very dry heat.
That's right.
It's different up north.
Compared to where they come from. Yeah.
Exactly. So today's game, gee, it looks so scrappy, guys. It's like, as you said before, Andrew, it's really not flowing. I tell you what, they're going to be more defensive in the second half. Believe me, if they've seen what they've seen there, close to getting close goals, like the player over there was so close to score right in front of goals. He got the through ball, bang, couldn't get through. But I'll tell you right now, it is going to be more defensive in the second half. As we said last week, a game here last week, Peter Petru was here speaking. He said it's going to be a mistake. That will be a goal from someone. It will be a mistake.
Yep, it'll be an incident that'll lead to a goal. Whether it's a brilliant piece of play or a mistake, hard to say. But it wouldn't surprise me if it is a lack of concentration, given the conditions, and that potentially could determine the game.
We did almost see a goal, actually. From the corner there. Almost an Olympico was scored, but near the crossbar. So we're seeing it all here. Speaking of the devil, the sun's coming out right now.
The more that it goes on this way, the frustration will just give it to them. The mistakes will come. Andrew. Because this heat, mate, plays a big part.
Yeah, absolutely. And the closer we get to 90 minutes, the slower the boys are going to become, and then it's the reserves. I suppose their reserves, as in physical reserves, and then what is on the bench in terms of reserves that could play a part in the ultimate result.
And remember here, of course, Stefan, there's 5 players missing. There's 5 different players here, which we never had the experience in seniors at all.
Exactly, but I think you've got to look also for Avondale as well. They're missing a couple. Andrew's son Stefan, he's also out as well, unfortunately. Maybe things could have been completely different.
I think clearly both teams are missing a lot of key players.
And
so it's a test of the depth of both players.
And I was telling you as well, Harry, is that Avondale are missing Amir Abdullah, who's by far their second best player on the team behind Bruno. Once Bruno leaves, next year he's going to be the best player on the team without a doubt.
Exactly.
Along too with your son as well. He's a phenomenal football player as well. So I think both teams were a little bit kind of out of their arsenal, so they're kind of just trying to slug through this one and see what they can get out. Because if Avondale can win this, that'll be huge for them going into the semi-final, another Italian derby. So we'll see. But then again, I have a sneaking suspicion we might be going to penalties. 2 from 2 for the weekend so far. I'd love to see that.
I don't want to go on all day here again, because I tell you why. If there's penalties here and it goes to extra time and penalties, the game will overlap to the other one.
You got to head over there.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to head over there to Heidelberg, and it's going to overlap, and that's it.
I feel bad for the people who are going, which is a lot of the media crew here. They're going to be going. I feel bad for them because they're
really going to that one.
Oh my God. So they're going straight over the Olympic Village.
Maybe they should have scheduled the game. They should have just scheduled the games later, not knowing that this is happening. You know,
they better have their parking spots reserved up there at Olympic Village because they're not going to be able to find any.
Oh God! But look, guys, it's a hot day today here. But I tell you, everybody there, wherever you are in Queensland, watching us here, you should be happy you're up there, because this weather here is dry. It is heat coming through where we are now, and we're feeling it. Is that right, Stefan?
Yeah, I'm always thankful whenever a slight little breeze comes through, because it calms me down, it cools me down a little bit. I've actually never prayed too much for rain right now, because if you had a little bit of rain out there, who knows how exciting
it won't rain. And Andrew, the other thing is that this will play a massive part in the second half, this terrible heat here, because I see some players really going. I could see the coach at the Brisbane boys warming up players just before half time.
Well, as I said before, Harry, I think the longer the game goes on at 0-0, the greater I think the Queenslanders are going to. I suppose the more comfortable they're going to feel physically. So then, as I said before, it comes down to the physical reserves of each player and who each club has sitting on the bench.
Stefan, last week, oh, there's the breeze. Thank God for that coming through right now.
About it.
But let me say, last week we did speak about the game here. What I'm going to say, the game is about to start right now, and of course it's now. I tell you what, you feel even hotter now. Even hotter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My pants are on fire. I shouldn't have worn black today.
The second half is coming up right now, guys. So please, and what do you think? What do you think is going to happen right now, score-wise?
I reckon we're going to get a goal each, similar to last night, and then we're going to go all the way through the penalties.
That's what happened last week against that game last week between Avondale and Preston, of course.
I have a sneaking suspicion with the way the game's unfolding. I think that's what we might see here today.
Andrew, yourself?
Harry, I think it'll go 90 minutes. I don't think it'll get to extra time. I'm predicting Avondale just simply because of the home ground advantage. But as we said before, the hotter it gets, and it's getting hotter as we speak, it's only going to play into the Queensland advantage.
Just before we go, as I spoke to the goalkeeper last week and from Preston and his goalkeeping coach, I says, mate, even last week starting at these times, have you got your whites ready? Who's up in the bowling? That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? Cricket weather, is that right? Mate, and that's what we said last week, guys. Thank you for joining us today on Football Less. See you soon. Thank you. Welcome everyone right now to Football Less. Of course, guys, we've had an amazing weekend. Of course, we're talking about Apia, Marconi, Avondale FC, Brisbane Excelsior. We should call them Brisbane Excelsior. No, Moreton City Excelsior. You're talking about South Melbourne NWS Spirit. We're talking Heidelberg United Metro Stars. Well, what a weekend, Carlos. What a weekend. But that game at Marconi, of course, what was it played? It was played at Lambert. Somebody said Lambert Park. No, Lambert Park.
No. West Apia, who was played at Leica Oval, which is an iconic football ground from yesteryear, against Marconi in the Italian derby. This is from memory, the 52nd time over the years that the two arch rivals meet. It's the second time in the history that he went to a penalty shootout, sudden death. But it was, in my view, that game had everything, Harry. It was the best advertisement for the Australian Championship. Marconi plays like Popovich plays. They sock up the pressure, they score, they defend their lead. Apia, West Apia as it's called now, because the West Football Group, West Club Group had now come on board for this championship, so it's West Apia. It scores in the 97th minute, and Franco Parisi brings on the substitutions in the second half to rejuvenate the squad, to spice things up. And to his credit, he has used the championship to blood a number of youngsters, to give the youngsters and the juniors a taste what it's like to play at the highest level. And Gonzalez, I think it's Omar Gonzalez from memory, who is 16. He comes in the second half in the last minute of extra at a time. Bingo, 1-1. So if Gonzalez never plays a game in his life, he will remember Friday's game forever. We go into extra time and everyone is at each other. Both goalkeepers, Kalash and Hilton. Kalash obviously has dad to be his coach. Selko Kalash's son is playing between the sticks for West Apia. And Hilton is for Marconi. He is the current Premier New South Wales NPL goalkeeper of the year. Yeah. So we go into sudden death, penalty shootout. Both teams miss 2 penalties. Gonzalez steps up, penalty number 3 or number 4. He has to score to keep West up in the game, and he just puts it away. Hey, just a normal.
I saw it.
Normal kick, with a plum.
No nerves, no nothing, straight in.
Just bing. It just went in.
I can't believe it.
So, and then we go to sudden death. Is 7-7, and then it's up to the goalkeepers to score now. So Kalash go first. Hilton saves. Hilton takes a kick. Hilton scores. But for me, West Apia had had possession, control of the game. However, when you get into a penalty shootout, it is a lottery. But from a football point of view, Harry, the games that we have seen in the quarterfinals have been amazing. The quality of the football has been extraordinary. So well done to everyone. And this will put all the doomsayers away. Because the Australian Championship in its inaugural form has been and will be a roaring success, Harry.
Let me say one thing about that penalty. I just remembered right now when Hilton saved that last penalty, Carlos. Did you notice young Kalatz, grabbed the ball. He didn't want to give it to Hilton. He didn't want to give it to him. He didn't want to give it to him. He was trying to put him off. He tried to. He took it. He's trying to pull it out of his hand. Did you notice? Oh, he knew there was something wrong. He knew that was the end. That was really. I just remember that just then. That was amazing. But let me just say, Carlos, honestly, these games this week, I've seen them all. You've probably seen them. Of course, Avondale FC, Moreton City, Excelsior, unbelievable 3-1. They couldn't have. Even the heat was that hot. Like in that time of the day, we had to start there, Carlos. We started the game at 12:35 in the heat of the day. You should have. Lucky they had an awning for us and everything up there, like a marquee, and we had Isabel as well, who's fantastic with the switching and everything and stuff like that too. But let me say, it was just amazing. They had 5 players out, Avondale, and of course that does play on you when you've got your 7 or 8 players missing, really, if you look at it. And that's the problem. Most of their team, Bruno Fonaroli played. He tried his best. He hit the post. It came off the post. It came into one of their plays and he scored a goal. So in the end, it was 3-1. And the Heat, Carlos, would have played, honestly, for Avondale, because the Queenslanders there with the Heat, Carlos, they know the heat, mate. So that really suited them. Isn't it amazing when you come down south, the heat's hitting, and all of a sudden it suits the Queenslanders. They must have brought the heat with them, mate.
Well, the weather patterns have been extraordinary throughout the championship. We had Friday night, 7:45 kickoff at West Apia. We had so much rain before, and it was crazy. So I'm not surprised, but the heat and the humidity affects the players equally. So at Moreton City Excelsior, no doubt, cope better with the heat. However, they came out to play football.
They did.
No one in the football fraternity expected Bayswater City to do anything but to lose every game.
There's the shirt.
No one expected Moreton City Excelsior to do anything but lose every game. So they gave the extra motivation to the players and the coaching staff to show the rest of Australia that we are a decent football team. And they have played like a decent football team. They're not superstars. They're a well cohesive working unit. They play for each other, clever coaching and the substitutions. And yes, Avondale had players missing, but they also have a decent bench.
Yes.
On the day, Moreton City 3-1, the serve winners, because they just took to the championship saying, hey, no one expects us to win. Everyone expects us to be flogged and lose by 5 goals. So let's show the rest of the world who we are, that we could play football in Queensland. The biggest disappointments to me, Harry, and no doubt you might disagree with me, but Sydney United 58 FC and Sydney Olympic, they did not take the championship seriously at all, in my view. And it's a shame, because they could have gone so much further than being the Weeping Boys.
Let me tell you, Carlos, about that too. And these are the guys who were actually putting in there, the foundation clubs. Very disappointing. And we're talking powerhouses in the NSL here with big names and supporters. And what happened? They didn't take it seriously. Well, something is brewing not right in those clubs, but they better improve next season if they want to be in there. But they're foundation clubs. Maybe something will change next year. Who knows? The president's gone. We'll see where they go now. Also Olympic. But let me just say the one thing about this Heidelberg and Metro Stars from Adelaide. Oh, my God, guys, talk about one way. 6-1 in the end. Yesterday, 6-1 in the end. It was non-existent, the game, Carlos. Non-existent. There was nothing there. Look, you're talking about Heidelberg being the strongest team. I've seen them do this twice. 6-1 to also South Hobart. Now 6-1 to Metro Stars. I've not seen another club score 6 goals in this tournament, Carlos. I don't think you have either.
No, I think Heidelberg has shown what quality recruitment does, what quality coaching does, and planning. They have taken to the first. Their planning for the championship started with taking the Australia Cup seriously, and they went to the finals, and they carry on that form onto the championship. But obviously, credit must be given to John Anastasiadis from Heidelberg because he had put together a team
Yes.
of
Am-
players who will die for the shirt. They leave nothing in the tank.
Exactly. So let me
And
just
clever coaching, clever recruitment, put them together, and passion, you'll get there.
Am I hearing some firecrackers behind you there? I think, huh?
Well, yes, it is. It's an early Christmas carol, but I just
It
closed the
sounds like
window.
it's no worries, no
Yeah.
worries. Let me say, Carlos, today's game also, we're talking here South Melbourne to Sydney, Northwest Sydney Spirit, honestly. And the other point I want to make to everyone is, that's the Northern Spirit. No, it's not the Northern Spirit that played. Of course, that played in the NSL. This is Northwest Sydney Spirit, different club. But Carlos knows it. He's the announcer at the ground. And of course, let me just say one thing, Carlos. You've been very close to this team. You've been doing some stuff with them as well. And let me say, you know the boys quite well. They couldn't break South Melbourne down. What could we do? So they played their best today, but it was too one-sided as well.
Well, credit must be given to the club because Northwest Sydney FC, or Spirit FC for short, it is a club in comparison to Rockdale and the Marconis of New South Wales, have a minuscule budget. It is mostly funded by the Northwest Sydney Football Association and private sponsorship. So to their credit, and David Perkovich was the head coach till he decided that he needed a new challenge and went to Sutherland Sharks to rebuild the Sharks. Over 9 years, he builds the club over time. Whilst in League One, they win the Waratah Cup. The following year, they win promotion. Last year, they finished 12th. First year in NPL 12th, last year 10th.
And I did speak to Cameron Miller, who is the youngest. He's the youngest coach in the competition. Young kid. He's doing very well. It's absolutely. We interviewed him yesterday, and the vice president as vice captain yesterday as well. So we interviewed them. They're very positive the way they spoke and everything. Confident. They're throwing in everything, and they're throwing the kitchen sink, and they're winning, Carlos. So that's fine. So I mean, there you go. It's boy. There's the shirt behind me right there. Ever since it's been up there, they've been winning, Carlos. You can see it right there. I can't believe it. A game in the shirt in the semi-final. So all I can say to you, Queenslanders, support your Queensland team. So I told him yesterday, you are representing Queensland, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. So it's like a state of origin, New South Wales team versus a Queensland team. So Carlos, that's a bit of a state of origin there for you.
It is, and I'm sure that both Marconi players and Morton City players will give 150% on the day, and there will be nothing left in the tank by the time the full-time whistle blows. And then we're going to have either a inaugural champion with pedigree, either Marconi, South Melbourne or City, or it could be the new kids on the block, Morton City, who if they beat Marconi, they go to the final, and then they could actually be the inaugural champions in the championship. And I think the championship is here to stay. It's going to grow. I think SBS On Demand has done an amazing job in covering the games. The commentary has been excellent. We have Andy Pascalidis on Friday at West at Larkett Oval interviewing people. A touch of yesteryear. So the championship will grow, and it will be bigger and better next year and beyond, Harry.
But let me just say, guys, keep watching this station. There's a lot of new things happening shortly on football. Let's see you soon, guys. Thank you.